Let's talk about brew news.
All right.
How about you news?
You news. Chelsea brought up a bit of change we're talking about, and this week is all about turning the page and starting with new chapters in our lives. That's the reflection we're trying to share with you anyway, as these stories that we're going to share with you is how they relate to us on a personal level, in which we all kind of eventually have to make choices and change and how we move forward with those choices.
Yeah. So grab your favorite drink and maybe a tissue or two. This is going to be an emotional one, especially with me in a shark outfit. So as we said, this week's brew news is going to be a little bit more on a personal level. Times be a changing, and we're going to start this off with the closing of Infinite Monkey Theorem.
Wah, wah.
Which is very, very sad. Technically, Infinite Monkey Theorem is not a brewery. It is a winery that's been around for 16 years. Long time. They were very innovative for the space. They used 100% Colorado grapes. They kegged wine. They had it in cans. Like, they were very innovative in what they were doing in the wine space. And they're going to stay open through the end of the year, getting rid of inventory and whatnot. But they basically blamed it on the rise of the NA options and increased labor costs, increased rent costs, increased materials costs, increased everything costs. It's not manageable anymore, which is too bad. They've been such a trademark of the Rhino district and were there before Rhino is what it is today.
Yeah.
And for me personally, Infinite Monkey Theorem was it was like an eye-opening experience to this love of the space of craft industries.
Sure.
Right? Like, you go in and it has like that really cool brewery vibe. Like, had tables that were games and chessboards and like fun lights, and to have wine off of like a draft line was bonkers. And you go out and have this big beautiful patio with cornhole and a bunch of fireplaces, and you could see the wine, like the grapes just like hanging out, and it was just such a cool experience that I remember being like, wow, this is like one of the coolest things that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I thought it was such an incredible model, and it always stuck with me. And it really did kind of set that like base tone of craft places that I love, that just hit that spot for me. That was like my first one.
Sure. I don't really recall if it was my first one, but for my 30th birthday, it was one of the 30 things I'd never done before. So definitely something I had never done before. We did it over 3 days, 10 new things in 3 days. And Infinite Monkey Theorem was on there. And I can remember going in with a close group of friends at the time. And what?
Nothing. It's just, I thought you said 3 things in 10 days. And I was like, that's not what you said.
30 things.
Yeah. Which would still equal 30 things. But
3 things in 10 days?
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
I don't know.
10 new things in 3 days?
Yeah.
That's 30.
Yeah, no, it is. I just, like, for whatever reason, I heard it the other way, and I was like, wait, that's the opposite. But I don't know which way you said it. Sorry.
I don't know. But it's a super cool place. So it was a new experience, and definitely resonated for quite some time, and was lucky enough to make it back a couple times after that, because it did mean so much. So it's a sad one to see it go, but I get it. But it's sad.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine the Reno area without it. Got that great picture of you with the monkeys. See, hear, talk monkeys.
Oh, I haven't seen that in the King's age.
Yeah, we'll post it up here. That was Liz on her 30th birthday, looking young and spry.
Yeah, less wrinkly and deteriorated. Less pages turned.
A lot of less beers ago.
Yeah, that was a lot of beers ago.
But anyways, that's what we got. We got off our sad horse with that one. I was really bummed when I read that this morning.
That's fair. But speaking of sad, turn to happier tales. Excited about this one. Sticking on the NA train, the new one by Spiderman himself, Tom Holland. He is introducing Bero to the world, which is an NA option, because he himself has been sober for the last almost 2 years. I think beginning of 2023. January he did dry January, and then he's just kind of stuck with it. If you're interested in reading more about his story, the Instagram post is in the link. But basically, I really got to admire the entrepreneurship in him that has grown out of his sobriety. And he talks about like the mental well-being and how that has helped him grow and gain and ways he perhaps never thought possible.
Yeah.
So, and he's not a brewmaster himself. He's doing it with a little bit of help from a previous brewmaster, from Samuel Adams, a gentleman by the name of Grant Wood.
Yeah, slightly small brewery.
Yeah, not like that guy knows what he's doing whatsoever, so I can't imagine the NA options being any good at all.
Yeah.
But the options they're coming out with, I believe, is a Pilsner, a Hazy IPA, and a Wheat. So those are good options to start and test the brand out with. So super excited for him and his journey of change and growth, and super exciting. Yeah,
that's good for him. You know, I remember reading it a while back of him when he started like getting more sober, and realized when he did that dry January that he was like that whole month, all I could think about was drinking. I was just like obsessed with it. And then finally he had the realization. He's like, why am I like so obsessed with this? Like, why does this have such a control over me? Like, I want to try going longer sober. Yeah. And I think that's a really insightful and educated thing to do. You know,
absolutely.
Having a drinking problem, taking some time off is always good. So those naysayers on dry January, it does actually make life-changing events for some people. Does. Yeah. So.
And always remember to drink responsibly. Yeah. That's a big thing.
Having a beer or two is very different from having 12.
Every day.
Every day. Continuing with the story of persevering, growing with the changing times, and being innovative in keeping your own business open, Flyte Co Brewing Co is opening up a co-working space to make...
Technically, they already have, but we're just talking about it now.
They opened up a co-working space. They have lots of extra space. You can rent areas for $200 a month, which is really cool. They've already got like a little cafe going on in their facility, so that adds to the perks. Obviously, there's going to be like beer and whatnot included in it. And great Wi-Fi. It's got to have good Wi-Fi. I think it's a cool opportunity, right? The co-working space, I do think is a good growing big space. $200 is a great price compared to some of the other ones. Gets you out of the house, gets you a little bit more inspiration and a little bit of socializing while you're out working. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's an innovative way to be like, hey, usually we're not that crazy busy during the day, and
they're
bring
not
some extra people in.
And technically they're not even open during the day. So it's open from like 7:30 in the morning until the brewery actually opens for its posted hours later in the evening. So I agree with you. It's a great way to utilize space that's not being used. And, you know, this particular location is on Tennyson, 38th and Tennyson. So their second location. So there's lots of foot traffic, lots of people in and around the area that are coming through that maybe don't want to drive to your co-working space, maybe downtown. You can just beat bop around the corner. And then maybe stay for a beer afterwards. I'm sure they'd love that.
Yeah, food truck, all the things. So it's just an innovative way to think about maybe something you can do with your brewing space.
Ooh, there you go.
Get creative. Flyte Co did it.
You can too.
Yeah. So I don't always think that we're great at like underlying the theme, but we really wanted to make sure we pinpointed out like why we're talking about certain stories, why they're all wrapping in together. You know, and how the news can touch people. And, you know, these incredible places that have been open for 16 years of memories. Yeah. And I mean, that's also really long. I mean, that's got to be astronomically long. And then the average business is up and going. But still, it's a tough one to see it saying goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also kind of err on the side of the things that pop up in my news feed or things that are happening to me externally in life often reflect the things that are happening internally. Yeah. So it's a pause for reflection on that, you know, things are changing, and these are just some inspirational and also factual based stories that sometimes business close, and that's sad, but we're sure that the crew at Infinite Monkey Theorem will turn their page and grow and persevere in a different way. Yeah. Full faith in that. And Tom and his crew are going to do good, and Flyte Co is already out there crushing it with new innovative ideas. So
doing stuff.
I like it. Yep. It's a good reflection from external to internal self.
Reflection face.
That's stupid.
But yet you did it without questioning.
That's fair.